Long ago, Earth was full of big cities, machines, and tall buildings. But that world was gone. After many wars between alien races, Earth became a broken planet. Most of the land was dry, full of ruins, or covered by wild forests. Humans no longer ruled the world. They lived in small tribes, hiding in the shadows of old times. In one of these forest tribes lived a young man named Rian. He was quiet, strong, and smart. His tribe lived near the edge of the forest, where trees met the ruins of an old city. Rian liked to explore the ruins, even though the elders warned him not to go too far. One cloudy evening, Rian walked deep into the forest with his small knife and a bag. He was searching for something to eat, maybe a rabbit or wild fruits. The forest was silent. No birds, no wind, just the sound of his footsteps on dead leaves. As he moved closer to the ruins, Rian saw something strange sticking out of the ground. It looked like a long metal stick covered in dirt and leaves. Curious, he pulled it out. It was a spear, old but strong. It was not made like the wooden ones from his tribe. This one was heavier, with strange markings and a sharp steel tip. Huh, Rian said to himself, wiping the mud off the spear. Good for roasting meat. He laughed a little and put it on his back. Soon he caught a rabbit using a trap he had set earlier. The sun was going down, so he found a quiet place between the trees to rest. He built a small fire, placed the rabbit on a stick, and sat down. The new spear stood beside him in the dirt. As the meat cooked and the fire cracked softly, Rian felt calm. The forest was quiet again. He looked at the flames, thinking about how good life could be if the world wasn't so broken. Suddenly, he heard a click behind him. He turned fast. At first, he saw nothing. Then he heard a deep, cold voice. It didn't sound human. Now your species is on the menu. Rian jumped to his feet. His heart pounded. Who's there? He shouted, holding the metal spear tight. From behind a thick tree, a shape stepped out. It was tall, almost twice his height. Its body was silver and black, made of shiny metal. Red lights glowed where eyes should be. It had long arms with sharp fingers and made no sound as it walked. Rian stepped back. What? Are you? Whispered. The machine didn't answer. It looked at the fire, then at Rian. It tilted its head like it was studying him. Then, just as quickly as it came, the machine turned and disappeared into the trees, moving so fast it almost vanished. Rian stood still for a long time. His hands shook. The spear felt heavy in his grip. Was it real? Did he imagine it? He grabbed his cooked rabbit and ran back to the village. Back at the village, the fire still burned in the center. Children laughed, and elders sat near the flames. Rian rushed to his tent, dropped the spear, and went to speak with old Damon, one of the wise elders. I saw something, Rian said quickly. A machine, tall, with red eyes. It talked. Old Damon looked at him calmly. Another dream from the ruins? No, it said something strange. Something like, now your species is on the menu. Then it vanished. The elder frowned. Machines like that are not from Earth. Long ago, before the Great Fall, stories told of alien hunters. Some say they watched humans, judged them. Judged, Rian asked. For what? To see if we are weak, old Damon said, or dangerous. Rian showed him the spear. Old Damon's eyes widened. This is not from any tribe. It is older than your grandfather's time. Keep it close, Rian. It may be more than just a weapon. That night, Rian could not sleep. The words from the machine echoed in his mind. Now your species is on the menu. What did it mean? He looked at the spear next to his bed. A strange light flickered faintly near the base, tiny glowing dots that weren't there before. You something more? He whispered to the weapon. Outside, the wind blew softly. But deep in the forest, a red light blinked, and far above the clouds, something watched, something hungry. The next morning, Rian woke early. He had not slept much. The strange machine, its cold voice, and the glowing spear were stuck in his thoughts. He looked at the spear beside him. The dots at the base were still glowing faintly, almost like it. was breathing. He picked it up slowly. It felt warm in his hands. He stepped out of his tent and walked toward the edge of the village. The air was cool and fog covered the trees. Rian looked around. Everything seemed normal, but he didn't feel safe anymore. Later that day, he told the other hunters about what happened in the forest. One of them, Toma, laughed. "A talking machine? Are you sure you didn't need a bad mushroom?" "I know what I saw," Rian said. "It wasn't a dream. And this spear, look at it." They looked at the spear. It was different, yes, but no one believed it was special. They said it was just old metal from the past. Rian felt frustrated. Even old Damon had said to be careful, but now no one seemed to listen. Still, Rian trusted his eyes, and he trusted his fear. That evening, he returned to the same place in the forest. He wanted answers. He brought the spear with him, along with a small pack of food and his knife. As he reached the old ruins again, he noticed something strange. No animal sounds. No birds, no rabbits, not even bugs. The forest felt dead. Rian moved slowly, eyes scanning the trees. Suddenly, the spear in his hand vibrated. Then he heard it, the same voice from before, deep and cold. "Test begins now. Show us if your kind deserves to live." Before Rian could move, a loud buzzing sound came from above. He looked up and saw a flying machine coming down from the sky. It was shaped like a dark metal bird with long wings and red lights. It had no face, only sharp claws and thin arms. It moved fast to fast. Rian turned and ran into the trees. The drone followed. It shot a net toward him, but he rolled behind a rock and escaped. His heart pounded as he crawled through roots and leaves, trying not to make a sound. The spear pulsed again as the drone came closer. Rian jumped from behind a tree and threw the spear. It hit the drone's wing. A blue spark flashed, and the machine crashed to the ground. Smoke rose from the wreck. Rian ran to the spear and pulled it free. The drone twitched, then went still. Suddenly, the spear glowed bright for a moment, then faded. Rian stood there, breathing hard. He looked down at the wrecked drone. "That was only the beginning," the voice said again, from somewhere in the air. "You are no longer just prey. You are being watched." Then silence. Rian didn't waste time. He rushed back to the village, this time dragging part of the drone with him. People gathered around, shocked by the strange metal. "What is this?" asked a young woman named Mina, curious and brave. She had never seen anything like it. "It came from the sky," Rian said. "It tried to catch me. I broke it using this spear." Now people were listening. Old Damon looked serious. "The stories were true," he said slowly. "There were watchers among the stars. They judged planets, and now they have returned." "Why us?" Mina asked. "We don't even have machines anymore." "Maybe that's why," Rian said. "Maybe they think we're weak." Over the next few days, strange things happened in the forest. Hunters didn't return. Fires were found, still burning, but no one was there. Animals ran from their homes. Rian and Mina started watching the sky. They saw small lights moving high above, too fast to be stars. Sometimes they blinked red. Sometimes they vanished quickly. Rian trained every day with the spear. He found that it could block small attacks, and when he focused, the spear felt lighter, almost alive. Old Damon called a meeting. "The time of hiding is over," he said to the tribe. "The hunters from the stars have returned. But this time, we will not kneel. We will learn, and we will fight." Some people were afraid. Goddess like Mina and Rian felt ready. One night, as Rian sat near the fire again, the spear beside him, he heard another voice. But this time it was softer, almost like a whisper inside his head. "You are not alone." Rian looked around. No one else seemed to hear it. He whispered back, "Who are you?" No answer came. Only a feeling estranged. Warmth in his chest, like someone, somewhere, was watching, not with hate, with hope. The forest was no longer safe. The animals were gone, and so were many of the people. Whole hunting groups disappeared without a trace. Smoke rose from nearby trees, and strange lights appeared at night. People in the village became afraid to leave, Even during the day, Rian, Mina, and a few brave others stayed alert. They kept guard at night and explored during the day. The spear never left Rian's side. One morning, searching near a broken bridge deep in the woods, Rian found something unexpected. Lying under a fallen tree was a man old, wounded and weak. His clothes were torn and his face was covered in dirt. "Help." The man whispered, "Rian," and Mina ran to him. They pulled him out carefully and gave him water. After a short time, the man opened his eyes and looked at the spear in Rian's hand. "You have one too?" he said. Rian was surprised.
"And you've
"Seen a spear like this before?" The old man nodded slowly. "Long ago, my tribe lived near the western ruins. We found the weapons and the machines." "Machines?" Mina asked. "You mean the flying ones?" "No," he said, coughing. "Worse, the hunters, the real ones." They helped him sit up. He spoke slowly, but every word was full of fear. "They are not from here. They are called Dravik. They test species across the stars. When they find a world like ours, they send their hunters. They see how we fight. If we lose, they take what they want. If we win, they leave." Rian's hands tightened on the spear. "And the spear? They are from old defenders," the man said. "Humans who fought back long ago. The weapons were hidden, lost. You found one, so that means your fight has started." The old man could not walk far, so they built a small shelter nearby for him. They brought him food and water and called him Gray because of his white-gray hair. Later that day, Rian sat alone, staring at the spear. He remembered the words spoken by the machine in the forest. "Now your species is on the menu. Test begins now. You are being watched." Now it made sense. They weren't just being hunted, they were being tested. He returned to the village and told the elders what Gray had said. Some were afraid, others didn't believe. Mina stood beside. "Rian, we can't wait anymore. If we hide, we will disappear. If we fight, we may survive." After a long silence, old Damon finally spoke. "Then we fight." That night, Rian took 5 hunters with him, Mina, Toma, and 3 others. They set traps in the forest using ropes, spikes, and fire. They waited in silence. Hours passed. Then they heard it, a low humming sound, metal wings cutting through the trees. A flying hunter drone appeared, scanning the forest. It moved fast, but silently. Its red light passed close to Rian's trap. Rian waited, then gave the signal. The trap snapped shut. Logs swung from the trees, hitting the drone and forcing it down. The machine crashed to the ground, but it wasn't broken. It twisted and aimed its arm toward them. Rian jumped forward with the spear. The weapon glowed, stabbed the drone's core. A flash of light burst from the spear. A small shock wave pushed everyone back. The drone shook, then went silent. Everyone stood in shock. Mina smiled. "We did it." Then from high above, a voice rang out. "You learn. You adapt. This is rare." "How?" Voice was not angry. It sounded ... interested. The spear glowed brighter, like it had gained new power. Toma looked at Rian. "What is happening to that thing?" I think Rian said slowly. "It grows with each victory." The next morning, other villages sent messengers. Word of the small victory had spread. A few brave fighters arrived to join Rian's group. They brought food, tools, and stories of missing people, strange metal animals, and burning skies. Rian trained with the new fighters. He taught them how to set traps, how to move quietly, and how to work as one team. He called the group the Watchers, because they would no longer hide. They would watch the hunters now. Meanwhile, Gray showed them something new. A map, drawn by hand, of an old human outpost hidden deep in the forest. He said it was once used to fight invaders long ago. It might still hold useful things. Rian decided to go. 3 days later, Rian, Mina, and 2 others found the outpost. It was hidden under vines and dirt, half buried in the ground. Inside, they found broken weapons, parts of armor, and screens that no longer worked. But in one room, under thick dust, they found a small box. The spear reacted to its tip glowing as they opened it. Inside was a metal disc. When Rian touched it, a light appeared in the air. A hologram message from the past. If you are reading this, humanity has fallen, but not forever. These weapons were left for those brave enough to fight. You are the last defenders. Teach the stars what happens when humans are hunted. The message ended. Rian looked at Mina. We're not just surviving anymore, he said. We're fighting back. Far above Earth, a large ship floated in space. Inside, alien voices spoke to each other. One said, they killed another hunter. Another replied, this group learns too quickly. Should we remove them? A deeper voice said, no. Let the test continue. This species may be useful, or dangerous. They watched as more machines were prepared for Earth. The hunt was not over. It was only just beginning. The forest was no longer quiet. It had become a battlefield. Rian and his group, the Watchers, worked every day. They trained, hunted drones, and saved people from nearby villages. His spear, once just an old weapon, now glowed with a soft blue. Light and strange symbols sometimes lit up on the handle when danger was near. One morning, a young scout ran into the camp. He was breathing hard and covered in mud. They're coming, he said. Machines. 3 of them. Fast ones. Rian stood and called his team. We stopped them here, he said. No more running. Mina and Toma were ready. So were 10 others. They had practiced traps, learned to fight together, and they believed in Rian. They had seen him bring down flying hunters. They had heard the old message from the past. Today they would fight back again. They chose a place deep in the trees, where thick roots and rocks made the land uneven. There they set traps, hidden spikes, nets made from strong vines, oil on the ground for fire. Rian stood at the center, spear in hand. The air was tense. Birds flew away. The ground shook slightly. Then the hunters came. 3 tall machines, shaped like thin wolves with long claws and red eyes, ran through the trees. They moved quickly, scanning the area. But Rian and his team were ready. One of the machines stepped on a hidden rope. A net shot up and trapped it between 2 trees. The team threw fire at it. It burned and screamed in a metallic voice before going silent. The second machine ran toward Toma, but the ground below it was covered in oil. As it slipped, Toma threw a torch. The machine caught fire and exploded. The third was smarter. It avoided the traps and charged straight at Rian. Rian stood his ground. The spear glowed. The machine leapt. Claws out. Rian rolled under it and stabbed the spear into its back. A burst of blue energy blasted out. The machine flew backward and hit a tree so hard that the trunk cracked. It didn't get back up. Silence filled the forest. Then the team cheered. We did it. Mina shouted. For the first time they had stopped. A group of hunters without losing anyone. That night they returned to the village carrying pieces of the broken machines. The people gathered around, amazed. Old Daman looked at the destroyed parts and said, this is the first real victory. Rian nodded. We need more. They will send stronger ones next time. Later, as Rian sat near the fire with Mina and Toma, the spear glowed again. This time, a bright blue light formed in the air above it. A voice spoke, not from the trees, but from the spear itself. You have passed level 1. Few species do. You learn quickly. You fight together. This is rare. You are now marked as threat. New test will begin soon. Then the light faded. Everyone stared at Rian. What does that mean? Mina asked. It means, Rian said slowly, we're not just prey anymore. The next few days were quiet. 2. Quiet, no machines came. No drones were seen in the sky. Rian worried they're planning something. He and Mina returned to the hidden outpost where they had found the old hologram. They searched deeper and found a locked door underground. The spear glowed and clicked softly. Rian touched the door with the spear's handle. The door opened. Inside, They found more strange items round shields that could float for a few seconds. Clear tablets that showed moving maps, and 2 broken spears similar to Rion's. One thing caught Mina's eye, a small cube with blinking lights. She picked it up, and a new message played. Warning. If this base is opened, it means the test has returned. Use what you find. Fight smart. The enemy will send real hunters next. Rion and Mina looked at each other. What we've seen until now, Mina said, was just the beginning. That night, a fireball fell from the sky. People ran out of their tents and looked up. A large metal object crashed into the far side of the forest. The ground shook. The next morning, Rion, Mina, Toma, and 5 others went to find the crash site. It took them hours, but what they found made them freeze. It was not a drone. It was a landing ship. Black and tall, with deep red lights glowing from inside. And from that ship, 3 large figures walked out. They were not machines. They were Dravakal aliens. Dark armor and eyes like burning coals. They held long weapons, sharp and glowing, and moved with confidence. Rion and his group hid. Behind rocks and trees, they watched as the Dravik began scanning the area, marking spots on their arm devices. They're here to finish the hunt, Rion whispered. Toma asked, Should we go back? Rion looked down at his spear. The tip glowed gently as if waiting. No, he said. We strike first. Rion watched the 3 Dravik step out of their black ship. They moved slowly but with purpose. Their tall bodies were covered in dark armor, and their glowing red eyes scanned the forest like they already knew where every human was hiding. These are not drones, Rion whispered. They're real hunters. Mina nodded beside him. They look calm, like they've done this many times. We need to go, Toma said. If they see us, they already know we're here, Rion said. But they're not rushing. They're testing us again. He stared down at the spear in his hand. It was glowing gently. It didn't shake or pulse like before, but it felt warm. Ready. The group returned to the village as quickly as possible. On the way back, they passed an abandoned campsite from another tribe. Tents were torn, fires were cold. No people, just silence. When they reached home, Rion called the tribe together. More fighters had joined since the last battle. Some were from far-off villages, others were survivors who had lost everything. The village was now bigger. Fear still hung in the air. Rion stood in front of them all. The real hunters have landed, he said. 3 of them, strong, quiet, watching us. Some gasped. Some whispered to each other. They're here to finish the test, he continued. They want to see what we'll do. If we run, we lose. If we hide, we vanish. But if we fight together, really, together, we might stand a chance. Mina stepped forward beside him. We have old tools, knowledge, and this land. We have Rion's spear. It grows stronger every time we fight. We all can. Oldemon walked to the center. Then we must gather every tribe we can. The next few days were busy. Rion and Toma led small teams to other villages in the forest. They told the truth, that the test was real, that the machines were only the first part, and that the true hunters had come down from the sky. Some people didn't believe them. Some were too scared to join, but many others came. They brought bows, axes, food, medicine, and old maps. Even had parts of machines they had found but never understood. Soon, over 7 tribes gathered in one place. It was the largest human camp since the fall of the old world. Rion stood at the top of a hill, looking at the fires and shelters below. It's working, Mina said. They're coming together, yes, Rion said, but we're still not ready. That night, Rion had a dream. He stood alone in a dark forest. The trees whispered like voices. Ahead of him stood a tall figure, its face hidden, its hand holding a spear like his own. You are the spark, the voice said, but the fire must grow. Hunters will not stop unless they fear the flames. Rion woke up sweating. He looked at the spear. It was glowing again, not just blue-white. He felt something new inside, like a quiet strength, not from the weapon, but from himself. The next morning, Rion walked through the camp. He helped build watchtowers, trained new fighters, and worked on new traps with Toma. Mina taught young ones how to move quietly through the trees. Gray, the old man they had found earlier, drew a big circle on the ground using chalk and stones. "This is the place," he said, pointing to the map. "If we face them, it should be here. This is the Heart Grove. Old trees, hard roots, many paths. They'll have trouble moving their weapons there." Rian nodded. "Then we prepare it. The Heart Grove was a peaceful place once. Now it became a fortress. They built high wooden walls using fallen trees. Traps were hidden under leaves. They created small tunnels underground for surprise attacks. They tied ropes between trees, placed sharp sticks in the dirt, and made towers where archers could stand. As the camp worked, Mina found something strange near the edge of the woods. It was a machine, but not a drone. It was broken and half buried. "In dirt," she called Rian over. "It looks like it's been here for years," she said. Rian brushed off the dirt. It looked like a helmet with symbols like the ones on a spear. "This was from before," he said, another human who fought back. Inside the helmet was a round stone with lights. When Rian touched it with the spear, a message played. "If you're hearing this, I failed. But that doesn't mean you will. These hunters think we are easy prey. Prove them wrong." The camp gathered again the night before the fight. Fires burned bright. People shared stories, food, courage. Rian stood near the fire with the spear in both hands. "I was just one person when this began," he said. "I didn't ask to lead. I didn't ask to fight. But I had no choice. They came for us. They hunted us. And they thought we would fall." He looked at the faces around him, young, old, strong, and scared. "But look at us now. We are not broken. We are many. You're ready." The people cheered. Even old Damon smiled. "We fight tomorrow," Mina said, raising her bow. "We fight." "Together," Toma added, lifting his axe in the dark sky above. The Dravik ship watched from the clouds. Inside, one of the hunters looked at a glowing screen. It showed many human heat signals moving across the land. "They gather," one said. "They learn too quickly," said another. "Send to scouts," the leader said. "But keep the main hunt for tomorrow. Let them feel hope first." The red lights of the ship blinked once. Then it went quiet. The morning sky was gray and quiet. A cold wind moved through the trees of the Heart Grove. Birds did not sing. Animals were gone. Everything felt still, too still. Rian stood at the edge of the wooden wall, his spear glowing softly in his hand. Mina was beside him, her bow ready. Toma stood on a tower, scanning the forest. Many warriors waited behind the walls, hiding among the trees in the tunnels, near the traps. Today was the day the hunters would come. "They're testing us," Rian said softly. "They sent to scouts last night. I saw them. Machines." Mina asked. "No, real ones. The tall ones," Rian said. "They moved fast but quiet." Toma pointed to a spot in the forest. "There," he shouted. Something moved. A few moments later, the trees shifted. Leaves fell from above. A strange humming sound filled the air, and then they saw it. One of the Dravik hunters stepped into view. His armor was dark and smooth. A red light moved slowly across his helmet. He held a long black staff that crackled with strange energy. He was not running. He was walking confident. Another hunter appeared from the other side. Then a third came through the center. All three moved calmly, like they had done this before. Rian raised his spear. "Wait," he said. "Don't attack yet." The hunters stopped just outside the wall. One of them lifted its head. Then, in a deep, clear voice, it spoke. "You gathered well. You made walls. You even brought old tribes together. Impressive." Everyone froze. It was the first time they had heard a hunter speak. "But we are not testing your strength," the voice said. "We are testing your worth." Rian stepped forward. "You kill our people," he said. "You burn our homes. What kind of test is that?" The hunter tilted its head. "If you fight us, you must prove you are more than food." Aeon gripped. The spear tighter? Then let us show you, he said suddenly. The first hunter raised his weapon. A red beam of energy shot forward, but Rian jumped to the side just in time. The wall behind him exploded in fire and smoke. Attack! Toma! Yelled. Arrows flew from the trees. Rocks dropped from hidden towers. Spears were thrown from the sides. The battle had begun. The hunters moved fast. One jumped over the wall like it was nothing. Another dashed through a trap and broke it with one strike. But the humans fought hard. Toma, it led a group of fighters through a side tunnel. They surrounded the second hunter and threw nets over him. For a moment, it was trapped, but then it let out a pulse of red light that knocked them all back. Rian charged at the third hunter. The spear in his hand glowed brighter than ever. When he struck, it made the hunter stumble. His armor cracked slightly. The spear was working. Mina climbed a tall tree and began firing arrows with perfect aim. One arrow struck the glowing part of the first hunter's staff. The weapon sparked and died. Yes, she shouted. It can be broken. From every side, humans kept coming. They used teamwork. They used speed. Used the forest itself. Hunters were stronger but not smarter. Rian fought with all his strength. He dodged attacks, rolled under swings, and struck again and again. Every time the spear hit, the hunter's armor broke a little more. Then the third hunter grabbed Rian and threw him against a tree. He fell to the ground, gasping. But before the hunter could finish him, Mina jumped from above and stabbed it with 2 arrows. "Get up!" she shouted. Rian stood again, holding the spear with both hands. Meanwhile, Gray and the older warriors had been preparing something. They had found an old device from the machine ruins. With help from the tribes, they powered it using the spears. Energy. Now, Gray shouted. The device sent out a loud pulsa sound wave that made the hunters pause. Their red lights blinked. For a few seconds, they didn't move. That was the chance. Rian ran forward. With a loud cry, he struck the second hunter in the chest. The spear glowed white-hot. The hunter's armor broke open and sparks flew. The hunter collapsed. Everyone shouted in surprise. One was down, the other 2 hunters saw it. One of them stepped back. For the first time, they looked unsure. Mina saw the hesitation. "They're not invincible," she shouted. "Out! They bleed!" Toma and a group of warriors rushed the second hunter. He pushed him into a pit full of sharp spikes. The ground cracked. The hunter fell and didn't rise again, 2 down. The last hunter roared. Its armor glowed red. It fired at everything, trees, walls, towers. Fire spread through part of the grove, but it was alone now. Rian and Mina ran toward it. Toma came from behind. Arrows rained from above. The hunter swung its staff wildly. Rian jumped, rolled, and stabbed upward. The spear struck true. There was a burst of red light. The hunter froze. Sparks flew from its chest. It looked down at Rian. Fell silence. The humans stood still. Smoke drifted through the trees. The heart grove was burning in places. But the hunters were gone. They had won. Gray limped forward, holding the old device. Did we pass?" he asked. Rian looked at the fallen hunters. He didn't feel happy. He didn't feel like celebrating. He felt something else. Dash watched. Above them in the clouds, a dark shape moved. The large ship was still there. "They know," Mina said. "They saw everything." Rian looked at the glowing spear in his hand. "We beat their test," he said quietly now. "Let's see what they do next." The sky above the heart grove turned dark again. Fire had been put out, the wounded treated, and the dead honored. The battle with the 3 hunters had changed everything. Rian sat alone near the broken wall. He stared at the spear, its glow. Now, dim but steady, felt tired, but his mind was still sharp. He knew it wasn't over yet. The large ship in the clouds had not moved. It watched, waited. Mina came to him quietly. She had cleaned her wounds and tied her hair back. Her eyes, always sharp, looked up at the sky. "They saw us win," she said. Rian nodded. "I don't think they expected us to fight like that. You think they will leave now?" He shook his head. "No, they're curious. They don't see us as people. Not yet. They want to know more. At that moment, a deep sound filled the sky. The clouds above the grove began to spin, slowly at first, then faster. A red light shone down from the sky like a beam. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Even the children stood still. Then something lowered from the ship. It was not a hunter. It was a being. Tall, silver skin, smooth armor that seemed alive. Its face had no mouth, just dark eyes that glowed faintly. It hovered a few feet above the ground. It looked at the broken bodies of the hunters. Then it turned to Rion. "You carry the ancient weapon," it said. The voice was soft but deep and not spoken aloud. It echoed in his head. "Yes," Rion said, holding the spear tight. "You fought." "With skill," the being said. "You worked together. You planned. You built." Rion stepped forward. "We survived." The being floated closer. "You surprised us. You defeated a small test group. But the real test is not over." Rian narrowed his eyes. "You think this was just a test?" The being nodded. "They're called the Varn. Long ago, we ruled this part of the stars. We studied many species, watched, took samples, measured growth." Rion looked around at the others gathering behind him, Mina, Toma, Gray, and the tribe leaders. "You saw us as animals," he said. At first the Varn replied, "But some animals evolve. Some rise. Some become something new." Rion said nothing. He waited. "You were on the edge," the Varn said. "Not prey, not yet predator, but your path is changing." Mina stepped forward. "Why did you come? Now, why test us at all?" The Varn turned to her. "Because your kind reached the old ruins. You touched what was not meant for you yet. That spear, ... It woke something. A signal was sent." Rion remembered the strange hum the first time he found the spear near the broken tower. "You didn't come to destroy us," Rion said. "You came to see if we were ready." "Correct," the Varn said. "And you are ... close." Rion looked at his people. Their clothes were torn, faces dirty, some still bleeding. But they stood proud, unafraid. "We don't want to be your test," he said. "You already were," the Varn said calmly. "But now you have a choice." Everyone listened closely. "You can fight us. Try to defend your planet. You will lose. But we will remember your bravery. Or you can learn. We will teach you, show you the stars, train you." "Why would you help us?" Toma asked. "Because," the Varn answered, "you are different. Most fall." You stood. Gray stepped forward, leaning on his staff. His voice was low but firm. "What do you want in return?" The Varn turned to him. "Service," it said. "Help us protect other worlds. Hunt those who destroy. Become part of our work." "Well? You want us to become hunters?" Rian asked. "No. We want you to become guardians." The grove was quiet for a long time. Finally, Rion spoke. "And if we say no," the Varn's eyes glowed brighter, "then we will leave. But others will come. And they will not ask questions. They will not offer a choice." Mina looked at the burned trees, the broken traps, the dead. "Maybe we don't have the time to wait anymore," she said. That night, the tribes gathered. A long fire burned in the center of the grove. Leaders spoke. Some feared what would come next. Others felt hope. Rion stood before them all. "We fought back," he said. "We showed we are not prey. Made them stop and speak to us." He raised the spear. "This weapon was made by someone like us long ago. Maybe we are meant to rise again, but not alone, not blindly." He looked at the stars. "If there is a chance to learn ... to grow ... and to protect others like us, then we should take it." In the morning, the Varn returned. Rion, Mina, and Toma stood at the center of the grove. The rest of the people watched. "From a distance, we have made our choice," Rion said. "We will learn." The Varn nodded. "Then follow me." A light opened in the sky. The great ship lowered something, a smooth silver platform. Rian stepped on it. Mina followed. Toma hesitated, then smiled and joined them. As the platform rose, the people cheered. They had sent their own to the stars. From high above the planet, Rian saw the world below: green forests, deep oceans, white mountains. He had once roasted meat over a fire, thinking only of the next meal. Now he was leaving his world to protect it. The Varn walked beside them in silence. After a while, it spoke again. "You are not the first to rise, but you may be the strongest." Rian looked at the stars ahead. He smiled. "Let's find out."